Welcome back to Kleppers Corner, your daily dose of global crisis, domestic dysfunction, and a parade of billion-dollar decisions made by people who think TikTok is a vitamin. It's August 6, 2025, and if you're watching this from inside a fallout shelter, congrats, you're finally ahead of the curve. Let's dig into the day's top stories before another executive order accidentally bans oxygen. Segment 1, Gaza Aid Drops, Hunger Games Humanitarian Edition. Gaza is in absolute crisis, and I don't mean the metaphorical we're all out of hummus kind. Hundreds of Palestinians are literally chasing airdrop food packages like it's Black Friday, and they're fighting over the last flat-screen TV. We've got aid drops, gunfire, pepper spray, and a UN spokesman basically yelling, "Just use the trucks, people." The UN says hundreds have died trying to get food. Israel says, what deaths? The aid agency GHF says it wasn't us, just a little pepper spray and some warning shots. Totally humane. Meanwhile, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar said we're sending huge amounts of aid, as if that somehow makes up for the fact that half of it comes with a side of bullets. Even the U.S. is involved. Barely. Trump's envoy met with hostage families and said, "We hear you," and then he left. The families were cautiously satisfied, which in diplomatic speak means thanks for nothing. So to recap, Gaza is a place where food falls from the sky, bullets follow shortly after, and the international community's main strategy is to shrug in different languages. Segment 2, Trump's new tariff plan, now with extra geopolitics. Trump just slapped a 25% tariff on India because they're buying Russian oil. That's right, India buys oil from Russia, so now you have to pay more for socks made in Mumbai, America, where logic is optional but tariffs are mandatory. Trump's reason? India is reselling Russian oil and making a profit. Wow, imagine that, a country engaging in commerce. What's next, arresting Canadians for selling maple syrup? India clapped back with a solid, "Are you serious?" They said their oil pivot happened because Middle Eastern suppliers rerouted to Europe. Oh, and by the way, the US and EU still buy stuff from Russia too. So yeah, calling out India for this is like yelling at your neighbor for eating meat while holding a chicken drumstick. But wait, there's more. Trump's planning tariffs on pharmaceuticals and chips, the kind you eat? No, sadly, the kind that power your iPhone and ventilators. Great, let's make medicine and technology more expensive, because nothing says national security like paying $500 for a bottle of aspirin. Segment 3, Russia's grain heist, fast and fermentous. Russia has reportedly stolen 15 million tons of Ukrainian grain. That's not just looting, that's grand theft gluten. They're mixing it into their own shipments at Black Sea ports, so it's impossible to tell whose wheat is whose. It's like a shell game with baguettes. This isn't just screwing over Ukraine, it's screwing over the world. UN food insecurity warnings are going off like a fire alarm in a bakery. Northern Nigeria is facing famine. Locusts are ravaging southern Ukraine crops, and somewhere, Vladimir Putin is making sourdough with the spoils of war. By absorbing occupied Ukrainian territory into their grain stats, Russia is trying to make theft look like agriculture. We didn't steal it, it's just Russia now. You know, like Crimea or half their ballet companies. Segment 4, Trump versus data, Bureau of La statistics. President Trump called the July jobs report phony and then fired the person responsible for it. Because if the data makes you look bad, just delete the data person. It's like blaming your scale for telling you you're overweight, then smashing it with a sledgehammer while eating a Big Mac. He fired the BLS commissioner and replaced her with someone who presumably does math with crayons. Kevin Hassett, Trump's economic guy, said, "We need the president's people doing the numbers so they're more transparent," which is code for let's fudge these bad boys until they sparkle. It's a strategy we've seen before: hurricanes, COVID tests, election results, and now unemployment numbers. If reality won't conform to your narrative, just reality to pay it into something fabulous. Segment 5, Texas Showdown, the gerrymandering gambit. In Texas, Democrats fled the state to block a vote on a redistricting map that could create 5 new GOP-friendly seats. Governor Greg Abbott responded by issuing civil arrest warrants, which are like real arrest warrants, except they do absolutely nothing. One side says they're defending democracy. The other says, hey, look at those blue states. They gerrymandered too. And while they shout, you started it, across state lines, the rest of us are stuck watching American democracy turn into a bad game of hide and seek. And just to sweeten the pot, J.D. Vance is headed to Indiana to talk redistricting. Yes, the Vice President of America is now moonlighting as a cartographer. At this rate, he'll be drawing the congressional maps with crayons shaped like AK-47s and eagle feathers. Segment 6. AI, now taking your job and raising your kid. Artificial intelligence is crushing jobs like a toddler on a juice box. New reports say thousands of layoffs are AI-related. On the bright side, AI is also helping small farms and monitoring your kids' moods online. So, yes, while it's stealing your job, it's also telling you your toddler is sad because you microwaved their dinosaur nuggets wrong. One app now uses AI to track kids' mental health based on their browsing, which is great until it tells your child your dad's search history is the real problem. We're just a few weeks away from your phone recommending therapy for your entire household. Meanwhile, China is selling robots overseas like they're iPhones. The world's heading for a robot arms race, and America's strategy is tariffs. Yeah, that'll slow down the robot apocalypse. Segment 7, data, metals, and disinformation. Trump awarded himself the full set of 1984 Olympic medals because when you can't win on substance, just grab the bling. Next up, he'll be the Nobel laureate in fictional statistics. Meanwhile, the White House says it's committed to transparency while it continues to hide economic reports, fire dissenters, and dimly light press photos like it's a horror film called The Disinformation. Segment 8, Indiana, the microcosm of America's existential crisis. Indiana's got it all. Air you can chew thanks to Canadian wildfire smoke, ICE agreements stirring immigrant fears, and VP J.D. Vance playing the role of redistricting Santa Claus. Oh, and let's not forget the latest hit crime stat, arrested for attempted murder, but make it local. And in local good news, Indiana State Fair is rolling out deep-fried everything, and they're restoring a pumpkin carriage, because nothing says 2025 like Cinderella escaping authoritarianism in a corn-fed ride. In closing, so that's August 6th, folks. Tariffs, conflict, grain heists, job report conspiracies, and artificial intelligence that knows when you're sad but can't tell your boss you quit. It's a world on fire, and we're all just roasting marshmallows on the melting polar ice caps. See you tomorrow on Kleppers Corner, where if you don't laugh, you're probably in charge.